Hi, my name is Shauna Fahad, and I am the Secretary for the Arcadian Renaissance Theater Creatives, or Artsy. And I am super excited to bring the news of our 2026 season. We have a lot of amazing things on the docket for this year, but first, let's talk about the elephant in the room, our first full production. And to talk a little bit more about that, let's go over to Tim Underwood, our treasurer.
Yo, my name is Timothy Underwood, and I'm the treasurer of Artsy, and it is my great privilege today to be announcing the first show, first full theatrical production, I should say, of our existence as an organization. As we were trying to find what we wanted to do with our season, right, the things that we wanted to say, the visions that we had, I think something that kept drawing me was looking back on my scholarship, very specifically my time at university as a theater student, and all of the plays that I had the opportunity to read that I feel like most people have some vague idea of, but maybe have never had the opportunity, especially here in Louisiana, to see live. Originally, we had tossed around the ideas of doing a couple of Beckett short plays. However, unfortunately, due to the fact that we have just started and don't really have much capital sway behind us, acquiring the rights for those shows just proved a little bit untenable, just based off of what we're working on. So I went back to the drawing board and thought of similar projects that had drawn my attention in the past, but I was never really sure like what I wanted to do with them. And I fell back on one of my old favorites, a tale that has been told throughout time, but that of, if you will, the tragical history of Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe. Marlowe is one of those really enigmatic figures, I feel like. Really a lot of the playwrights from that time, with the main thing that I know about Marlowe being that he was assassinated by a dagger through the forehead, apparently, which is, he's got to be doing something to, draw that kind of suspicion at that time. Regardless, Dr. Faustus struck me because I feel like it is kind of an archetypal story in the way that it depicts a man who uses their station to strive for ultimate power, despite the fact that there are clearly moral and ethical misgivings brought about before his decision to eventually sell his soul to the devil in order to expand his knowledge of the magical arts. And it's something that sounds fantastical, but I think Marlowe writes in such a way that it's much easier to see where he's coming from and the sort of jabs that he's trying to make, in some ways more so than even Shakespeare, which a lot of the normal theater goers out there is very difficult to even start to have a primer in the way that Shakespeare uses language, much less have it be effectively communicated on stage for a lot of the productions that they'd be able to see. Again, at least in my experience with my surroundings. With Dr. Faustus, I am going to be ensuring that I stay very close to the vision in order to tell the story of, again, what it seems as though men in power are willing to sacrifice of themselves and the goodness that humanity kind of has inherently in them in order to basically pursue power for power's sake. I'm not, and we as Artsy are not going to shy away from the obvious implications that has in the current political climate, and more so just generally with the way that a post-imperial worldview has kind of set us at odds with the very ideas of power and whether or not they can be legitimate in the first place. It is something that I believe has a lot of meat on the bones. I will, needless to say, be forthright and say that I am going to need a killer production crew in order to really see through my vision. In particular, I would love to get in touch with people who have a lot of experience with practical effects, especially on stage, but even any kind of practical effect. There's a lot of scenes in Dr. Faustus that require some really cool sleight of hands to pull off. And I would love to work with people who want to rise to the occasion and make something that is, let's say, for as little budget that we are working on, something that we can all be very proud of and that will shine through with our work. Anyway, I'm sure I've rambled on enough. I'm also going to be working on a couple of the other projects, very specifically the ones that our president, Chase Bernard, is going to be talking about here in a bit, but I'm really excited about all of this. I've been wanting to get to work for a while now, and I'm really, again, just absolutely floored that I get the opportunity to with a show that I've always wanted to tackle, and now I'm being afforded the opportunity to. So I hope that y'all are excited. I hope that I didn't ramble too much, but again, my name is Timothy Underwood, and we are Artsy.
Thanks, Tim. And so you've heard about our first production, but wait, there's more. As you already know, we have been hosting our playwriting workshops throughout the last couple of months. We do plan to continue those as we go, focusing on different areas and different types of playwriting and different ways of looking at pre-written scripts. So if you have something that you would like to submit for this workshop, please let us know. We would love to have a chat with you on that. We are also looking at expanding to some other workshops throughout the year. So again, if you have ideas, reach out to us and we're happy to have a conversation about what that can look like for you. But we still have even more on the docket because when we get started, we don't stop. And to talk a little bit more about what this is going to look like and something that's pretty unique in this area, I'm going to hand it off to our president, Chase Bernard.
Hi there. My name is Chase Bernard, otherwise known as the president of the Arcadian Renaissance Theater Creatives, or Artsy. And I am super excited to announce 2 monthly rolling productions that we're going to be doing over the course of this year. And that's going to be the Creatives Showcase and the Final Rule. The Creatives Showcase is a showcase of local creatives. We're going to be doing a live-streamed variety show where we're going to be showing art. We're going to be making it, we're going to be doing it, we're going to be building the tracks as we go, but if there's art, we want to show it. So whether that's skits or music or some other third thing, we'd love to have you on it, or we'd love for you to come and watch it. It's more than likely going to be live streamed on YouTube, so check that out when that comes through. The next thing is the Final Rule. The Final Rule is a fully improvised D&D podcast. So basically, that means we are going to be fully improvising from the ground up. And I know D&D is normally a improvised thing to begin with, but we're going to be taking it a step further. The DM is not going to know where the story's going to end up. The characters themselves are going to be fully improvised and built upon as the story progresses. We're going to be having guest artists that will come in and fully improvise their character on the episode with us. We have a lot of amazing ideas for the Final Rule, so we hope that you'll tune in. We'll have a live stream day during the month where you'll get to come in, throw out a suggestion, and then of course we'll be putting the show somewhere recorded where you can actually listen in on it sometime later that month. So these are going to be 2 amazing productions that we're going to be putting on hopefully every single month. And like I said, we're building the tracks as we go, but we really hope that you'll be along for the ride. So anyways, hope that you continue to be on this journey with Artsy, and tune on in.
Thanks, Chase. And that brings it to me with our final full-fledged production of the year, which will be Trifles. Now, I don't know how much you may know about this particular show, but it is one that I learned about in my scholarship, as Tim calls it, through my undergraduate degree in theater, and something about it has stuck with me since the first time that I read it. The whole point of Artsy, to me, is making sure that we are inclusive and that we diversify and we make sure that everybody has a space within our organization at whatever level they desire to be. And so finding Trifles again, when we were looking through what kind of shows we wanted to produce for our very first season, it reminded me that this is kind of what we're looking for. The whole point of Trifles, at least to me, and the way that I would like to push it forward as director for this particular piece, is reminding people to listen to the quiet ones and protecting those that you care about. There is always going to be some big entity out there that is going to try to push smaller people down. That's just how the world has worked for a very, very long time. But when you stick together with those kinds of people, you can protect each other. And that's what we want to do as artists. We want to protect the people who feel like they haven't been able to be heard, the people who haven't been able to put their own words out there yet. which is why we're asking for feedback on our playwriting workshops, why we're asking for people to submit for our own workshops. And in the future, that's going to keep growing because we want to give that voice to people, which is why I chose Trifles in the first place. Thank you so much for watching our season announcement video. I know it's been a little bit of time, it's a little long, but I'm super, super excited for everything that we are doing this year, and I hope you are too. We're looking forward to seeing you with us, audition with us, and come to our workshops, come to our shows, and I cannot wait for you to experience us as Artsy.